Whether you are new to sim racing or whether you've been sim racing for a while, I hope that by the end of this video you are going to understand at least my perspective on why the loss of project cars from the sim racing community is a really bad thing, and we have lost something that's very special. Look at the detail in these cars here in this video. Look at the amount of cars on track, the amount of different variety of cars that you can drive, the different weather conditions. We saw snow, there's rain as well. You can even race in blizzards and lightning storms. This is not an upcoming sim racing game. What you're watching on screen right now, this is Project Cars 2. This is a second version of Project Cars. You can see here the Nissan Skyline Super Silhouette. There was a massive fanfare when that came to Gran Turismo 7. Well, that's been in Project Cars for now more than 5 years. And we are losing Project Cars. Project Cars has recently died. There will be no more Project Cars entries in the series. And I think this is a really, really, really sad thing. I'm going to let you know why. I was actually going to make a video when EA bought Codemasters. I had it all planned out. I had a rough kind of skeleton of what I was going to say. And I was going to say this is potentially a really exciting thing for the sim racing community, that now EA, the might of EA, is potentially going to be making a sim racing game. You know what EA do when it comes to licenses. You know what they do when it comes to polish and presentation. And I actually never made that video because I just wanted to see what was going to happen with Project Cars. And unfortunately, we've got the news that Project Cars has been canned. Now, it's a really, really sad thing because I loved jumping on Project Cars. What you're seeing right now is Project Cars 2. I got into sim racing really with Project Cars 1. I dabbled in GT, I dabbled in Forza, but when Project Cars came out in 2015, I really, really, really got stuck in. It is a proper sim racing game. You look at the settings, you look at the tuning, this is legit. And Project Cars 2 took it to the next level, even better graphics. And by the way, even though I think the PS4 struggled a little bit to render everything on screen, when you go into photo mode and you look at the detail of the cars, the detail was all there. It just needed a bit more power to run it. So I'm devastated that we're not going to see this on PS5 and Xbox Series X. But stuff like this you can see on screen when I'm just going around. This is a fictional Californian highway track, a point-to-point race. I've just maxed out the cars on the track. I've accelerated the weather. This is what I love to do. Before I was doing YouTube, this is my passion. This is what I'd love to do. I really got into it. Loved messing around in different cars. I used to set up lobbies as well. I set up specific lobbies with like insane dynamic weather and time of day changes. And we'd race that and we'd have a lot of fun. And I think that set me up really well for Gran Turismo Sport and running the lobbies I ran there and ultimately, you know, growing this YouTube channel. Look at the views we got here. You got the tyre temps. That's something they very controversially took out. Project Cars 3. Project Cars 3, I think they must have seen, you know, the sales of more casual games, not even like a Simcade, but just more on the arcade side, and thought we want a bit of that. And they really did, I think it's clear to see, sacrifice the sim elements of Project Cars. And I do think if they just stuck with the formula of Project Cars, it was actually a really, really, really accessible game. The way it's presented, you can drive on a controller as well. It's cross-platform. You can play it on Xbox, you can play it on PlayStation, and play it on PC. I think they had a really, really good formula, and they tried something different, Project Cars 3. And ultimately, I don't think anyone was going to play Project Cars 3 over Need for Speed or over The Crew. So it was a very difficult space, and ironically, the sim racing space, I think, has got a little bit stale in terms of new entries. Gran Turismo 7, I think, is pretty clear to see has not been the game that a lot of people hope for. Assetto Corsa Competizione is quite old now. Assetto Corsa is even older. R-Factor 2 is old, and motorsport games is a whole nother thing at the moment, which I've talked about on this channel. Then you have other stuff like, you know, AMS2 and other sort of things, and your AMS2 running off the Project Cars engine is really the way that Project Cars is going to live on in kind of spirit. But I love the accessibility of it. I mean, have a look at the cars you have here. This is a game that you paid one-time fee, you know, to buy the game, and you had all this access, all of these cars, all of these tracks, all of this sim accessibility on console. The footage you're seeing now on screen is me playing on a pad, and I think we're really, really, really going to miss that. I think I am someone that came into sim racing really through the Project Cars funnel. Let me know in the comments, by the way, if you also got into sim racing through Project Cars. It'd be really interesting to see. Make sure you like and subscribe if you want to see more sim racing discussion like this on YouTube. But I just, going back to Project Cars 2, and I did a lot of Project Cars 1, and, back in 2015, Project Cars 2 iterated in it, a lot of, incredible stuff going on. VR, esports was really big in Project Cars. A lot of people you might recognise in esports, like James Baldwin, really found their way in Project Cars. And, like I said, it's a tough video to make because there's not going to be a Project Cars 4 that's like a return to form. It's something that we can spend a lot of time on. And I think the space is poor for it. I think the space needs really, really good competition. And when I look at what's coming in, stuff like, Rennsport, I'm not sure that gives the breadth of cars and variety. And, if I was like a young teenager again, am I going to be really interested in Rennsport? Probably not. But Project Cars was exciting because I could choose all these cars and do crazy racing, and it got me absolutely hooked on a sim. So a sad video for me to make, but I thought an important one. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you've got any fond memories of Project Cars, or let me know if you just hated it. It would be good to see. But for me, rest in peace, Project Cars.